Here we go now, baby. Right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition. Before you bet. Aaron live right now on the Covers YouTube and X channels. If you're on YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button right down there. And baby, if you are down, I am here to bring you up. Not just your bankroll, but also your mood. Your spirit should be up. The holiday season is pretty much upon us. I don't have my Christmas tree up yet. Some Christmas chores coming on the weekend here that I'm not really looking forward to, but it is the holiday season, so you got to celebrate it right. Okay, so a great big show planned for you guys today. Thursday night football, a fun-looking game. I think there are some stakes. Whoever loses is probably officially out of the playoffs here. I don't know if either team will make it, but we shall see. We have 5 total bets for that game. I'm coming off a decent night in the NBA, 2-0. I have officially crossed the 10-unit mark for the season, so going to try to keep that rolling. John Metler and I'm breaking down 5 bets in the NBA as well. No Jake Butt. I know he's been with us on Thursdays throughout the football season here. So instead of his appearance today, I and Brad Powers put together a special college football playoff preview that is up on the Covers YouTube channel right now. It's a very efficient 20 minutes covering a bunch of different topics, analysis for the first round games, picks for long shots. The guys give their best bets to win the whole damn thing. So you're going to want to check that out. It's up right now here on the Covers YouTube channel. If you guys want to participate in the show, very easy to do so. Hit up that live chat on YouTube, on X, Todd in there. Here we go now, baby. You're goddamn right, Todd. Let's bring those spirits up. Let's bring up the spirits of our guy. He's always in good spirits. Always a big smile. The sexiest smile in all of sports betting. Jingles, how we doing?
Good day, Joe. Happy Thursday. Everything is good over here. Thursday night football, week 15. I don't know where weeks, I'm going to age myself. Don't know where weeks 8 to 13 really went outside of the Thanksgiving one, but we're coming down the home stretch here. It's starting to get cold. Christmas is around the corner. It's a good time of year. And we're going to get those Netflix games coming up too, as I put it on the other day. And my son's like, why is Patrick Mahomes on the front of Netflix?
Yeah, hopefully streaming for those NFL games is a little bit better than that stupid Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight when there's buffering and you just couldn't get through it. I'm sure, they got to be fixing these issues. They're doing a lot. They're going, Monday Night Raw is going to be on Netflix here. Producer Mick's very excited about that, starting in 2025. So you got to assume they'll have those issues worked out. So NFC West battle tonight, both teams pretty inconsistent all season, especially the 49ers. I'll get to that here. Let's get into it. I have 2 picks. You have 3. I will hit lead off, and I'm going to go with the Rams to cover the spread here. All morning, this has been jumping back and forth between 2.5 and 3. You obviously want to get it at 3. If I need to tell you why, you probably shouldn't be betting on the National Football League, but I'm taking the Rams at the 3. A trend-heavy pick here. So check out these trends for the Rams. They are closers. They're on a 13-2 against the spread run in December games. McVay has his team up for these games towards the end of a season. He also gets his team up for these Thursday night football games. They're on a 6-1 against the spread run on Thursday nights. You will recall back in week 8, they beat the Minnesota Vikings as a home underdog. They beat them 30-20 in that game. Meanwhile, here's a big trend for San Francisco. They cannot be trusted. They are 0-5 against the spread after wins this season. And look at their wins this season. Not very impressive at all. They only had 6 of them. 4 of them, Jets, Patriots, Cowboys, Bears. You think the 49ers are back after smacking around the Bears last week? I do not. I'm not impressed by that at all. Let's get into some stats. Kind of surprising here. 49ers defense, they stink in 2 key areas. On third down, they rank 27th. In the red zone, they rank 31st. And what do you know? These have been some strengths of the Rams offense here lately over their last 3 games. They're ranked top 5 in each of those categories. So at the very least, I think they'll be able to keep it close. I won't be surprised if they do win outright. They are the much healthier team. So give me the Rams plus 3 points. Jingles, let's get into your first bet. One that you gave out a bet type. I think you did this last week or the week before, but a rushing touchdown prop. Tell us about it.
I believe I did it for my Sunday Night Football
Yes.
SGP. And that's kind of where I saw this market. I've kind of gone back to it. And we were talking off air about how this game is kind of tricky to find stuff in the props market. We don't have a ton of guys out because we're not sure about Guerrero, even though he looks like he's probably going to play. There's no Blake Corum props, which kind of sucks. And I think he'll get a big workload today. But this is a good number. I think we're discounting what the 49ers rushing offense really is in the spot. I mean, Patrick Taylor can punch it in too. He did last week, 4 carries in the red zone for a touchdown. And this is a team that's scoring 56% of their TDs on the ground over the last 4 games, despite the injuries. Trent Williams probably not going to play. He's out. But this is a team that can still run the ball. And we saw their opponent last week give up 3 rushing touchdowns to Josh Allen alone. There's a lot to like in this spot, especially that number at plus 160. Both teams, there's another one if you can find it. Total rushing touchdowns in this game over 2.5, I think, is also a similar price. So not a bad look if you're expecting some short week rushing stuff going on. And I think this San Francisco offense rushing game is getting discounted. Basically, anybody who's getting thrown in there so far in the year can pick up yards.
Royce in the live chat gives out a bet that I'm kind of interested in. Same game teaser, Rams plus 8.5 and under 54.5. Now, I had planned on doing a same game teaser for the show with the Rams, and originally it was going to be the over. Then I start looking into it, and I'm thinking, well, maybe the under would be the better side. And when you're doing that ping pong thing in your head of which side should I take here, you probably shouldn't place the bet. But yeah, I would lean, if you want to do a same game teaser, which some people like doing, Rams, and tease the under up to 54.5 there. I think it looks like a pretty good spot. Okay, let's keep going here. I love this prop bet here. It's kind of hard, not a lot of guys on the board. The 49ers running back situation, some of the wide receivers are not, and it forced me to do some digging. And as a result of that digging, I found a prop bet that I just don't like. I absolutely love it. It is George Kittle, longest reception over 23.5 yards. Allow me to break this one down. So look what he's done lately. He breaks off a lot of big ones. He's had a 30-plus yarder in 5 of his last 6 games. The game where he didn't was the game in Buffalo, which was the shit show in the snow. Overall, he's gone over this number of 23.5 for his longest reception in 8 of 11 games. I love this because LA has allowed the 4th most completions of 20-plus yards this season, 47 total. That's an average of 3.6 per game. I do believe that Kittle can break one off against them. The Rams do struggle against the tight end position, bottom half of the league in both yards and catches allowed to tight ends. And Kittle's on absolute fire here at home, an average of 123 yards across his last 3 home games. You can also make a case for Kittle going over his receiving yard total. I do, however, think this is the better way to bet it if you can only make one bet on Kittle. Jingles, this is the bet type that I typically get out, but we'll let you take it this time. The second half over. Why do you like this one?
Trends. I'm not a big trend guy, but it just shows you what both of these offenses are doing in the second half and the adjustments that, let's be honest, 2 highly touted coaches can make at halftime going into the second half. We're talking short week defenses hopefully wear down. That's my first point. 41 points last week, Detroit, Green Bay in the second half. The three Thursday games at Thanksgiving had 27, 28 points, 20 points, and on the Friday, 23 points in the second half. Even the Pittsburgh-Cleveland snow game saw 30 points in that second half. The Rams, second half over. And where's the trend go to? The Rams, second half over, has hit in 10 of the last 14. San Francisco, second half over, 12 of the last 16. That's 22-8 to the over combined between these two over the last 30 games in the second half. They do. San Francisco does play slow, but if the game script changes, then hopefully something goes. We saw with your numbers there talking about explosive plays, can absolutely do it. Injuries on defense are a big part of this, especially short week, depth issues. People could be moving the ball pretty easy in the second half, I'm hoping.
Okay, points in the second half. Let's go. Okay, one last pick for Thursday Night Football. A little dinky one. I like these little dinky bets. Matthew Stafford. What are you betting for him?
This was a blitz play. And when Derek Carty says it's like an 85% winner and this is the best play that he projected, I mean, we got it at -110, but I'll put it out at -120 as well. There's JPC for San Francisco. Yes, they are clock suckers, to take a word from Joe. But like I said, 85% winner don't happen every day. And Derek was very conscious of this, saying that this was one of his best value plays on the board this week. Stafford, I mean, he's 11-2 to the under on the year. He has one game where he's gone more than 4 yards rushing. He just doesn't rush. And there's a little kneel down equity within this. I mean, if they do, they're 3-point dogs, but he could erase a small gain with a couple kneels at the end. Under 0.5 rush yards, -120. Talk about hit rate, 11-2 to win it over the last 13. Good spot, -120. And he said at this price, like, it's the break-even point's like -500. You're obviously not going to get that, but even the -140s, the -145s are good too.
Okay, there you have it. Our coverage of the Thursday night football game going down tonight in San Francisco. Jingles, you're going to be right back with us tomorrow covering the Sunday games, a couple of really good ones, maybe a couple cases you can make for Super Bowl previews potentially. So until then, best of luck with those bets, buddy, and
awesome.
We'll catch you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Enjoy your Thursday night. Lots of hockey, lots of football. Good luck with your bets.
Let's go, baby. Okay, let's go to the National Basketball Association. How about those Atlanta Hawks? What a weird team. They have 2 wins versus the Knicks this season, 2 wins versus the Cavs this season. They have wins versus the Bucks recently, since the Bucks have turned the corner and are good. They have a win versus the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, losing twice to the Wizards. They have losses to teams like the Pistons and the Blazers. The Bulls have smoked them a couple times. What do you make of the Hawks here, Metler? A funny team, right?
I mean, they had the first overall pick. This is purely Indiana Pacers vibes from last year, is it not? Like, the Pacers weren't really a team you expected to do much of anything. Then they make this NBA Cup run. They trade for Siakam. You're kind of getting the same thing here from the Hawks. I think the trade for Dyson, there's no way they thought Dyson Daniels was going to fit this nicely beside Trae Young, but Dyson Daniels is playing like the guy I think they thought DeJounte Murray was going to be beside Trae Young. So now you get Dyson Daniels, you get the first round picks. You're kind of going to rebuild, but now you have this roster that is playing what you thought you had from a couple years ago when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and all that stuff. So Dyson Daniels, he didn't get there for my assist prop, but when you're just watching that game in general, his defense on Jalen Brunson, it was so disruptive. And, you know, we're talking about, like, when you talk about like rivalries, kind of lack them a little bit in the NBA. Trae Young rolling the dice on the Knicks logo at center court. That's awesome. You love it. You love to see it. And great response in my mind to the Knicks saying we should win the game if we don't want to see him do that, instead of, you know, pushing them, all those things. So the next matchup,
Ohio State. Yeah,
passing a law. The next matchup, something to watch for sure if you're looking at player props, because obviously it's very personal now I think it always has been, but even more now between Trae Young and the Knicks.
Yeah, I like that. So it's funny with Trae Young, you know, he's been a guy who's been in trade rumors for like 2 or 3 years. And I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't know why I was thinking about it, but what would be the point of trading Young unless you're going to bring back a player who's of equal talent? Like, he's a guy, you got to look at it from a business perspective. He's been the team's biggest star now for, you know, a half decade, maybe. I don't know how long he's been in the league for, but he was good right out of the gate in his rookie season, sells a lot of jerseys, a lot of kids in that area. He would be your favorite player. So why not just ride it out with the guy? You know, he can be the guy. If you want him to score 30 points, he can do that. If you want him to get 12 assists, he can do that too. So I think a good player to keep around, unless, you know, you can get pretty good value for him. So out west, how about the Rockets? I think the Warriors had beaten them in like 10 straight games or something. 15 straight games. Holy shit. So I was very proud of myself. So I went into that game, the handicap of it, and I was going to take the Rockets. They were a 2-point favorite. I believe they only won by 1 point in that game. And it was one of these bets. I took the under on it, which easily hit. It hit by, I think, 35 points. It was one of these bets, and sometimes I get in my head with these, and some of the viewers might be able to relate, where it looks so goddamn obvious that you think, you know, what's the catch here? And I told myself a couple weeks ago, it was, I forget which game it was. I think it was Bucks Pistons. And it looked so obvious, and I didn't bet it for whatever reason, but I took the under and hit quite easily. But Rockets, Very fun team. So they go up against OKC, I believe, in the semis of the NBA.
Yeah. I see Kevin there saying, who are the refs in the NBA Cup games on Saturday? Not Kennedy, because that was the worst call ever at the end of that game when I don't know, the foul call is something. I mean, if anything, just give a jump ball, let him jump it up to side, or just let him play it out. That was wild. In terms of you're talking about the defense and the under, you could see it right away, right away, the way both teams were defending. Even the Hawks Knicks, they looked a little nervous. Like the Hawks came out and they short armed a couple shots. I think the NBA Cup, what the idea behind the NBA Cup, it is working. Like you could tell there's different energy in the stadium. There's different energy on the court. And like Steve Kerr was pretty like emotional after the game. Obviously he was upset about the call, but like he was adamant, like we wanted to go to Vegas. Like we wanted to win the NBA Cup. So I think year one, we were kind of like skeptical of how this would play out. I think year two, you're seeing like, hey, like even the 50,000, 100,000, what these guys keep getting as they keep winning more games, you make 10 million and 20 million a year. But I mean, some of those guys at the end of the bench is worth a lot. So it's interesting. The Rockets they're a good team, but man, they honestly just remind me of my Magic. It's like such good defense and then just lulls of like, where's the offense? Like what is happening here? So I feel like you're going to see them make a move.
Yeah, like the NBA Cup, I'd like to see them expand it to give these regular season games more meaning. I would like to see them do it where maybe they play the finals during the All-Star weekend, move the All-Star weekend up to the week off in between the week off before the Super Bowl. I think there's college football going on around then too, but I think that might be an opportunity. The NBA regular season gets a lot of criticism. These guys sitting out, sometimes guys kind of take their foot off the gas. But yeah, I kind of like it. I think the players care about it. And that's the league needed the players to buy in on it. And it looks like they are. So do you think if, for example, the Milwaukee Bucks win it, should they raise a banner and throw a parade in downtown Milwaukee?
I don't know about a parade, but the Lakers raise the banner. So I think if the Lakers raise the banner, I think that means everyone raises the banner, because you would think the Celtics and Lakers would be the two that would not want to raise a banner in their arena. So like if the Magic win it, they're raising a banner. Like we don't have
they're throwing a parade.
Yeah,
sure.
All the things. You're talking about the Bucks. So what's kind of interesting, we saw yesterday, saw trade rumors. There's a lot of trade rumors floating around right now. I don't know if everyone just leaked all their info to Shams at the same time, but they were saying the Brooklyn Nets not willing to deal with the Milwaukee Bucks because they actually want them to kind of suffer because they want Giannis in like a trade or free agency. I was like, that's
fuck off. Fuck off. Watch, I apologize for the Brooklyn Nets are an absolute joke of a franchise. They bent over backward. Don't even get me started on Kyrie Durant and firing Steve Nash. Give me a goddamn break. Yeah, I read today that Jimmy Butler, apparently he's cool to stay in Miami. But, if he does get traded, I think they're kind of viewing their situation as the window has closed. So let's do a bit of a soft reset, perhaps.
Yeah. I think he's moving. Like we're given Mavericks, Warriors, Rockets. And then yesterday they just added the Suns. Maybe
who the Suns going to give? Here's a bunch of second-round picks in the 2040s here, guys.
They actually could do Bradley Beal with those contracts aligned, so that actually does work if they want to do it. But I just thought it was funny.
Player.
We were looking at the Mavericks. We're like, who are they trading? So it's like, I feel like those teams don't really have the assets to get Butler. So then all of a sudden the Suns get thrown in. And then this morning I saw the Nets tied to Jimmy Butler. I'm like, this probably feels like Jimmy Butler is gone. He's trying to find a way out. He's looking at different teams. So kind of interesting. I think he's going to be on the move for sure.
Hopefully not to the Nets.
They won't trade.
Screw them. They were a good bet early in the season. Todd says BYB is not a family show. Sadly, today it is not. If you have your family gathered around the television watching, I do apologize for using the F word. It will not happen again on today's show. Maybe tomorrow, though. Okay, let's get into it. 5 picks total in the NBA. Only 3 games here. A couple good-looking betting opportunities. So you can get us started. Terry Rozier, prop for him. What do you like?
Yeah, I went Terry Rozier over 2.5 assists. I think this is about like plus 126 now. So I've been watching this. I feel like a lot of these times with these like random players, when I just pull them out of nowhere, they actually don't come out of nowhere. I've probably been tracking their assists for a couple games or seeing something, and then I've finally decided to strike here. This is definitely what's happened with Terry Rozier. So he's fallen out of the starting lineup. He's more into a bench role. And now this 2.5 assists, this is really playing into that bench role. And the one thing I did really like from the matchup with the Raptors is one, the Heat could beat them pretty good. So you could kind of lean more on those bench guys a little bit more. But the fact that Scotty Barnes is out, so Scotty Barnes is injured, he's out. Davion Mitchell should move into the starting lineup. Davion Mitchell is the Raptors' best perimeter defender by far. So if he's playing against the starters, when Terry Rozier comes in off the bench, he's not guarding Terry Rozier. Like if this was one game earlier, Terry Rozier probably comes off the bench. Davion Mitchell also comes off the bench and he's guarding Rozier. Don't really like that. So the fact that Mitchell's now in the starting lineup, I think this plays a lot better for Rozier to get assists and be able to create offense for his teammates. And the other thing I like too is the minutes. I'm not banking on starters minutes. These minutes, the projection I was using at about like 22, 23 minutes. That's pretty low for Rozier and you still have a nice edge. So it's kind of, this number has moved to a point where you can play it based on his new role. So I went Rozier over 2.5 assists.
Scary Terry. Okay, let's go to Boston where the Pacers are in town. Total 226.5 over at BetMGM, and I am taking the over. I think a beautiful looking spot based on this pattern we're seeing in Pistons road games here. They are flying over. Average combined score of 239.75 in their last 4 road games. Their defense has been awful in the month of December, 28th in defensive rating. Now they're going into Boston, taking on a Celtics team that is number 1 in offensive rating on their home court. Boston should be able to go off from three-point land. Detroit is last in three-point defense over the last 10 games. No one shoots more threes than the Celtics, and it is not even close. 2 matches between these teams this season. Look what they've done. They scored 250. That was a game played in December, and 242. In another, the Pistons were able to carry some of the load as far as scoring went in those games. I do expect the same here tonight. So over 226.5 in Boston. Next up, Sabonis.
Yeah, I went to Montes Sabonis, 6+ assists, -105 here. So the Pelicans, this is a much different team than what you've seen, even just a couple weeks ago. They're getting their guys back. DeJounte Murray's back. Herb Jones is back. Those are your 2 better wing defenders. And a lot of the Kings offense does come from their backcourt, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk. So when Herb Jones is being able to apply pressure, I think you're just going to see Sabonis used as kind of like that pressure release where it's instead of, hey, I'm going to work really hard to generate offensive perimeter, I can just flip it to Sabonis and then we can run actions off of him. And that's Sabonis's game. Like he very much is a guy who catches it high post, nail, or on the 3-point line, and he works dribble handoff actions with his guards and they shoot jumpers, and that's how he gets his potential assists. So I think the matchup with how just Sabonis plays it kind of all ties together here because I think they'll want to use him in that role against these Pelicans defenders. And that's, when you're trading, his potential assists have kind of been down this year. So this number has kind of come down here. So with the matchup and the price coming down, give me the over.
Okay, my final pick of the show here. I like the Kings to cover the spread, a 6.5-point favorite in New Orleans versus the dinky Pelicans, who are one of the worst teams in the NBA. All of a sudden, a lot of lopsided losses here for the Pelicans. Over their last 10 games, they are 28th in both point margin and net rating. They absolutely stink. 8 losses by double digits over the last month. That is over half of the games that they played in. And this is a good pairing because when the Kings win, they tend to win big. Their average win has come by 15.1 points. That is the 4th highest mark in the NBA. So if they can beat up on a team, they do take full advantage of that. They're pretty hot here offensively. Consecutive games where they scored 140 points. Also 4 games ago, they dropped 120 versus the Rockets, one of the best defenses in the NBA. And just look at how they match up. Last 5 games, what type of form are these teams in? The Kings, number 1 in offensive rating, 25th in defensive rating for the dinky Pelicans. Let's go Kings, -6.5. Final pick of the show, Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I went Keegan Murray, BYB points prop over 12.5 points, even money. So you will see 11.5 on the board, but it's juiced pretty good. It's like -130. The projection's pretty far over. So I would just go to the 12.5 even money. I think it's higher EV for you. When the Kings, so I was talking about, using Sabonis as that pressure release, a lot of dribble handoff. The guy they're going to want to attack is CJ McCollum. That's the weak point of the Pelicans defense on the perimeter. And I think I'm just guessing. I'm thinking DeJounte Murray will go on De'Aaron Fox, Herb Jones on DeMar DeRozan. So I think Keegan Murray is going to draw McCollum, or at least he's going to draw someone that they're going to want to attack. So I just went Keegan Murray. I think you'll see him run some of those actions with Sabonis, and these props do kind of play together here. If Sabonis is giving him the pass, Murray knocks on the shot. Murray's also you might be shocked, but like I think he's like top 5 in minutes played this year. He's playing a ton of minutes, and he's a shooter. And you got like a nice break here, like 4 or 5 days with the NBA Cup break. So I think for a shooter, that also kind of helps get his legs back under him. That's just really narrative based, but who knows? He wasn't really shooting the ball the best. So 12.5, give me the over.
Okay, there we go. Recapping the picks. If you missed the top of the show, Jingles gave out 49ers touchdowns over 1.5 rushing touchdowns. The second half over 23.5. Matthew Stafford under half a rushing yard. I went with Rams to cover the spread +3, and my favorite prop for the game, Kittle longest reception over 23.5. In the NBA, Scary Terry over 2.5 assists, Sabonis 6+ assists. We have Matthew Stafford in there, and I think that's supposed to be the the over for the Celtics Pistons at 226.5. I took the Kings to cover 6.5, and Keegan Murray to go over his point total. So busy afternoon here at Covers. I have to do John's performance review. I asked him if he wanted to do it live on BYD here, and he said no. He declined. He wants to keep it private. 0 days without a producer make a mistake. Back to the drawing board, baby. I don't think the viewers care very much. We are honest with them. Okay, so big show coming up here tomorrow. Brad Powers is going to be back. He's had a week to handicap this Avalanche Bowl game. So he's going to be back with a handful of best bets there. We're going to be covering, obviously, the Sunday NFL games, a couple of really big games this weekend. And the NBA is back, I think, with a much bigger slate. It's been
much bigger slate.
Games. Yeah, so big. Yeah, so some really good betting opportunities should be on the board here tomorrow for the NBA. So we will leave it at that. Thank you to both of the fellas for joining today. Thanks to producer Mick. Put together a great show. Thank you to our sponsor, BetMGM. Make sure you check them out for all your sports betting needs. And most of all, thank you to all the great viewers, especially the guys and the gals in the live chat. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Best of luck with your bets tonight, and we will catch you guys again tomorrow. Let's go, Sacramento Kings. Woo!